exhaustion. So
yeah, because if
battling
not,
too long.
if there's a million Pokemon, yeah, and let's say that like a billion, sorry, and let's say like even in theory, if each Pokemon could kill 1 million other Pokemon each, 1 million lions, there'd still be like what 110 million lions remaining, and surely they got to use struggle and just whack themselves on the head after a while. So if they've got PP, the lions win.
Also, there's also like if you take into consideration the abilities, just could have Moxie, and all the lines are screwed.
PP, that's how much moves they can do in it. Or is
Well
it-
done, man. Thank you.
Right, well, Lions are going to win then, because they're going to run out of attacks.
Did you steal that idea from someone, did you? Hold on.
Thanks for that, Spuddy.
Yeah.
Also,
yeah,
there's Moxie Gyarados, there's all
what about-
abilities.
The problem is how big an area does like moves like earthquake, explosion, war. Moves effect. This is just
Also,
it depends on how much area it is and how do you measure a lion in Pokemon standards? What base power? What moves does it have? What typings and whatever.
so let's assume that they're like level 1. Yeah. So let's say a lion's equivalent to like a level 1 Rattata. The problem being is if it's the anime Pokemon, they fuck the lions up like royally, because the anime ones can do shit like get back holes and just do all this random and literally like like their surf is taking over whole villages and stuff like that. So if it's the anime version of it, I mean they royally destroy the lions and it's not even fun. Like I think like probably like one of the Dark Ray or like one of the legendaries just does it alone, but.
Yeah, thinking about it now, the Lions are going to win.
True, but at the same time, we like bringing
It's
back the
shit.
exhaustion.
Why have you changed shit now? You was Team Pokemon. What happened?
No, I don't know anything about Pokemon and the PP.
Okay, I think
the
only.
unlimited moves.
He has no idea
only
about the
knows 10
PP chat.
Pokemon
You
as
heard it here first.
I think
I don't play Pokemon.
the only way.
Is Liam saying he's never seen a PP before? Is that it?
Yeah.
I think the only way to end this debate is somehow managing to rescue, managing the, how to count up the power level of a lion in Pokemon standards. That's the first thing.
Yeah, but you can't do that though, because it's a fucking lion. It's just period. It's an animal. It's a
What's
predator. That's
based
it. That's
on
all
then?
you got to treat it as. It doesn't have abilities. It doesn't have PP. It doesn't have nature or whatever. It's a fucking lion versus Pokemon that have wizardry fucking moves.
Yeah, but there's a
But
billion
limited.
of them, though. Yeah.
But, yeah, I know there's a billion
Limited
of them.
moves,
But
and there's only like
you're not going to strap
1,000
some
of
wings
them.
to a lion, are you? The flying types are going to do all sorts. They're going to do bits to them. Breathe
I-
fire on them and shit.
Fairy Lace.
Can I also ask this? Are the lions in one condensed area, or are they spread out over, like, let's say, the continent of Africa?
It's like a giant plane.
A billion lions, in like context, is probably the size of the whole of the United Kingdom, like one by one next to each other.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a
the
lot.
concept of a billion, I don't think you realize how many that is. Like you forget that
I
there's.
think it's because our brains don't comprehend how big a
No.
million is, because it's such
Like-
a large number.
Like there's less than I think less than a billion people in the whole of India. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's a lot of
That's big.
people. Yeah, there's like it's half of China. If you put China in half and then make them all
I think
lions,
it's
stick them in a big field, they're fucking up anything. I'll be
I
honest.
think it's
As
more
long
like
as the-
2/3 of China's population.
Do the lions
Not
work
all.
together, or do the lions start eating each other because they're bored as well? Another
We-
question.
Did
They're not
debate
gonna
this.
be
It was
fast
like
spotting.
if we take into the fact that like they can fight each other, then some Pokemon would just outright kill each other, like Seviper and Zangoose. They would just instantly them two would fight. and
Lions
then they
do the
both
same
just die
because
instantly.
males have that clash, don't they?
Males, yeah.
So the
alpha
lions are
of
going to
pack
turn
will
on
create
to
a pack.
each other as well. They're going to scrap it out.
Do you reckon like just Psyduck be left just confusing people and they'd be like, Psyduck? Psyduck?
Side up's the
It's
truth.
really bad headache.
Yeah.
True.
What about What about moves like Helping Hand?
Also,
how
I did a
does
little.
that affect the battle?
I did a little research before this as well, and there is it Mag Cargo?
Cargo, yeah.
They are equivalent to, in terms of heat that they produce, equivalent to the surface of the sun. That's how hot it is in Pokemon theory. So obviously, if that's the case, it doesn't have to move or anything like that. The lines literally would never get near it, and if they did,
Yeah.
they just burn up.
But then-
Also, apparently,
so
Steelix is as hard as diamonds, so literally they couldn't touch it.
Its
So
teeth would
that's
shatter if
fair
it
point.
tried to bite
Yeah,
it.
if they all go on him, then they'll kill him.
But at the same
Yeah, no.
time, don't
What
Pokemon
with?
like need to breathe and stuff?
Yeah, and also
It's-
the
this is
argument
like-
is if they use their moves and then start struggling and whacking themselves in the head, then they die after time. So,
But
it
are
all
we
depends.
doing anime Pokemon or are we doing game
Well, you're the-
Pokemon?
you
Yeah.
make up the rules, don't you? You asked the question. So,
It's like we could base off of PP, which means they only have X amount of moves.
Yeah,
and
but then Phoebe,
eventually
that
they-
means your Lions win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you could also do it off exhaustion, which means they don't ever hurt themselves because they run out of moves, but they start being unable to fight because they're that tired.
I brought that up last week actually because they do.
Yeah.
You see in the anime, like Pikachu, for example, can get physically exhausted if it battles too hard.
yeah, but you can't do the anime because the whole point is that like they've got the Pokemon that can like just fuck up the whole system and like make a black hole, and you're like,
Fuck
oh,
up the
okay,
system.
Yeah, but
well they won.
Well, think about this. Warrior is able to create black holes.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Yeah,
a
Create a black
lion-
hole.
yeah,
Poof.
yeah, black
Gone.
hole.
Lions.
Okay,
Pokemon
right.
win.
Center of-
Pokemon win.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that
Well,
fence.
Stick them all in a black hole.
how-
Let
how
someone else
big the
worry
black
about
hole
them.
is. But that fence,
Not our problem anymore.
how big the black hole is in terms of mass. If it's anything bigger than quarter, I think a quarter, it will destroy the Earth because black
Yeah.
holes are.
And then that one Pokemon will just be sitting there like a
Infinitely
boss, won't it? It'll be like, oh, I've won.
True.
Oh, look,
Wonder
at me,
what-
I
I've
would like the
killed
science of black holes and shit because it's something I have like looked
Isn't-
into because of astrophysics and
No,
shit. This is
Wait.
genuinely kind of my forte here.
I
Yeah,
just
a small
thought-
black hole would destroy the whole Earth because of how fucking dense they are. It's
Yeah.
like
It's just-
you
yeah.
could. A good comparison is like neutron stars. They're like really densely packed neutrons. If you had a bullet
Oh,
that was made
thanks.
out of neutron star material and you put it on a pedestal, you would need a base the size of Manhattan to stop it from sinking into the ground.
Yeah.
They are
Well,
that dense. It's denser than that.
Jeez.
No, it also
I had a
depends.
quick thought. Are we including megas in this?
No, because Megas requires stones and like a trainer. The only exceptions like Mewtwo because self Mega.
And
apparently.
Rayquaza.
Can
Oh,
I
I
come
know,
back
yeah.
to the
Yeah.
black hole thing? The Hawking region exists, so depending on how big, massive black hole is, it could create an explosion, which can kill a bunch of lions. Whatever.
What about Arceus,
So-
though? The creator of Pokemon, the god of Pokemon.
Yeah. I was about to put forward an argument for the Pokemon winning in the game version as well. Isn't there? Is it Trevenant? Am I right in saying that? That's a ghost type, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And doesn't that have the harvest thing so that in theory it can constantly have infinite PP?
Oh.
It could do if it had a Lumberry, yeah. But
So-
where it would get the Lumberry from is another issue.
For a ghost type, is it?
Yeah. So the
It's
whole
a
point
ghost
is
type.
that like it can't be touched and it can constantly just do like I don't know.
Well,
what moves it
therefore,
does.
then the Pokemon are going to win if it's got that. If it's a ghost
But then-
type.
Oh, now it's
You
Team
resolve
Pokemon.
round.
No business.
Make
does
your
it?
mind up, Liam.
But then you resolve around to lions
Yeah, I
like
know
don't
about
have a
this
type.
move.
So lions would probably be able to punch a ghost type Pokemon because they aren't typed.
I think that surely a lion has got to be equal to a level 1 Rattata. Like, surely they've got to be
Yeah,
the
but
same.
it's like typing wise, isn't it? If a normal and ghost Pokemon like can't interact in terms of normal and ghost type moves,
Yeah, but it's got
that
grass,
makes sense. But a lion's like not in the Pokemon universe as like just a lion. It's always like Pyro is like a flame lion that's created specifically based off of something, and so it is a Pokemon with these typing. But a lion's a real world animal. that
Also, I
is just
heard
completely different.
what would you think about this? What about when the lion dies, it becomes a ghost type? At that point, Pokemon have got no chance.
Yeah, they've no
Yeah,
that was
chance because the
something I said.
lions will
Because
never
ghosts
truly
exist
die.
in
Exactly. You've got 2 billion then, in theory. That's a
True,
lot,
two
isn't it?
bits.
Yeah,
I
it's
think-
fucked.
I think Bennett is a Shuppet is a Bennett or Shuppet is a doll that was possessed. That was thrown away. That was possessed by a spirit. So spirit exists in the Pokemon universe. So
True.
do
Dark
lions
in the
become
chat
spirits
just
after that?
Dark in the chat just said Toxic stole the lions. Slowly let them all die to poison.
Well, that'd actually like the worst
that's a
idea
valid
because
strategy.
you've only got 16 toxics, though, haven't you? Or however many it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think
you can only
16.
throw that out 16 individual times.
True.
Like, surely in this game, like a move like Earthquake and Surf just kill, in theory, like most of them. I don't know how big is Surf realistically. Like how, because obviously in the game you're not limited to how many it hits.
True.
Is Surf literally just the whole of New York's just covered in water?
Yeah, but
So-
it's going to be a little bit as if it's a fucking tidal wave. It's going to be all over.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
I think it's applies to all AoE moves. Like what about
Can lions swim?
Press Blades?
Lions
Yeah,
carry
but-
them, yeah.
not very well though.
Yeah, but what about
Elephants
Press
can swim really well.
Blades?
Yeah, but it
And
can
You kill a few million with a surf.
They could also, if they join together, you could just be like a massive Surf and then one Zapdos Bolt, and then they're all fucked, didn't they?
Electricity
mean-
travels through water to like its ground state, so it would kind of
But-
go in the water, chain into any that are like the least path of resistance, but then go straight into the ground.
I hate
a
how
really
Phoebe
nice
has an answer for everything.
but
Literally
how-
everything
Basically,
shuts
can.
down.
Where does the water come from? If it's just pure water, it's a weird insight there, but
Are you
if it's
questioning where this come from when you've got fire-breathing lizards, mate? Like, it's
No,
just
we need
surely.
is real if real world physics and chemistry applies in Pokemon world.
You can't do that.
Yes,
You've got
Miss
floating things.
Spud, this whole conversation is a big if, okay?
True.
It's just if.
Yeah, but
So
then half
if
the Pokemon don't work if you
It's
apply
pure
physics to it.
water. Electricity ain't gonna do anything. But it's from just what from let's say a lake or the ocean or river. Then the ions in the water is gonna lead the electricity.
Yeah, but if it's Pokemon moves, then we all know, period, electric super affects water. So Zapdos electrocuting that surf is going to work because it's super effective like it is in the game.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's going to fucking kill probably all the lions.
What's the fastest Pokemon out of interest? What's the one that's just like
That's
rapid?
a Deoxys speed. No,
Yeah.
that's that's Regieleki.
Okay, I just meant in terms
Oh,
of like,
the
is
new
there one
Reggie.
that's like the Flash?
Yeah,
They
Regieleki
just
based
can't touch 'em.
200 speed.
Yeah. Because if there is, then obviously lions can't do a lot of that, can they? They're just zipping past him like. Zoom.
Yep,
Also,
base
I had a
200 speed.
thought. Like if you hit water from a certain height, it feels like you're hitting concrete.
Hmm.
Say if
Yeah.
you have an Inteleon with a Snipe Shot, the speed of the water could also impact like how it affects the lion.
I definitely think though that there's a simple thing like there needs to be a definition in terms of do the Pokemon after a while start hitting themselves with struggle, because if they don't, then realistically even ones when you think about it like Golem, it could literally just sit there in a ball and lions are just going to slowly age. They're going to die of old age. Do you know what I mean? Like
The
it's
age
then
war.
they're gonna, yeah, Onyx is just going to sit there and have a load of lions like pouring at it and be like, I'm a rock, mate, what are you going to do?
I mean,
Like-
there's also there's also rollout, which
Yeah.
gets stronger after each hit.
But like, regardless of moves, they can literally just outlive lions if they don't hit themselves after a while from struggle. I think that's got to be a clause. Otherwise, you've got no answer.
There should be like a giant, I don't know, Discord or something just dedicated to this one question, I feel like.
And how
Phoebes,
about
your,
you make
your
a
team
whole
Lions.
channel?
I got a question. Phoebes, your team Lions, what would it take for you to be team Pokemon? What do you think
Some, like,
Pokemon would
massive-
win?
Video evidence.
Massive flaw, yeah. Or like an actual really accurate simulation. That
Could you come up with any way Pokemon could win, even though you're team Lions?
I don't think so off like the top of my head, no. Because I just think like I have a decent grasp on like how big a billion is compared to like 1,000. If each Pokemon was to take out however many lines to win, they'd have to take out over 1 million each. Like
But-
that is a lot.
But do you not think that there's like, I mean, as we were talking about earlier, there's the ones that can like generate black holes and like to that extent. Do you not think that you don't have to have 800 Pokemon taking out 1 million each? You just have one that takes out 1 billion slowly over time.
But then the thing is, like, wouldn't they also kill all the Pokemon? In
Doesn't
which
matter, it's
case,
last man
that's like
standing, innit?
mutual
But that
annihilation.
depends on where the black hole spawns. It spawns in the
Sometimes to be a
depends
winner,
on where the Pokemon's where the black hole comes up and how the lines are spread out. Is just a giant clump or is it
Oh,
or
Corey's
is
just
it
put a good thing
over
in
a
Corey's just-
large area?
Corey's just said the space a billion lines would take up is 1,142.7 kilometers squared, which is pretty big.
Yeah.
And that's,
Is
I'm assuming
it?
that's pack.
To give
Yeah.
it to Liam, that's like 2 or 3 Old Traffords.
Right,
It's not. It's way more, but I just,
Yeah.
just need to give him that.
Oh, Google like surface area of the UK.
What about, yes, legends in chat? For those watching on YouTube, you can see the chat just underneath Liam. Hypnosis, Sleep Powder, Dark Void, Send the Lions to Sleep.
Yeah, but they only work like as if we're going to do the moves and play it like the game. You can only take out 1 line at a time with those.
But
So you can
Dark
sleep,
Void hits all the
like,
opponents.
Yeah, but they can still kind of, if they have those...
Yeah, but how much powder do they have? That's the point. If all of these Pokemon have unlimited moves and whatnot, they win 1,000,000% because you've just got, as like Liam said at the very start, you've just got they can just fly up and Charizard can just slowly go until they all die, until they're all little burning corpses. Like you don't need if they've got unlimited ammo, they win. If they've got limited ammo, it's a fight. You know what I mean? It's close.
I think...
If they hit themselves, it's game over.
Yeah. Yeah, running out of PP. Yeah, it's Lions win, period.
Yeah.
Couldn't the lines just like swarm a Steelix basically and just pile on top of it till it like suffocates?
If it's as hard as diamonds, and yeah, I don't know the physics of it, but wouldn't you need like the pressure of? I don't even know if they had enough weight to gain that much pressure,
You'd
and also
need-
they kill themselves way before that.
You'd need something with like the same what's it called? It's not. Is it hardness, the Mohs scale or something? You need something with the same Mohs as diamonds to be able to like actually scratch
Yeah,
into
there
it.
is something...
Yeah, I
don't know
don't think
what it is,
Lions
but
have
yeah.
got that in their locker. I know they got
No,
really like
but then-
teeth.
And they're a lion.
Turns
Are
out
they
you've
really
got
going to
quite
think
a
that
lot.
logical together?
But
Well,
then I'm just thinking like, what if like under some circumstance they all literally just charge it, pile on top of it, and then the Steelix just suffocates because it can't
Lions
breathe.
go
There's that
in
many
packs.
lions.
What's that?
Lions go in packs as well, don't they? They don't go alone. So
Yeah, they work in packs. There's an alpha.
Yeah, but they have
the
their
male
own
doesn't do
packs.
much. But the females would all work together pretty much as one massive collective unit.
The men just sitting at home like, oh,
Yeah,
God,
the males
this is
kind
Put
of
the
do.
feet
The young males would actually help out. Or those that are like not the alphas. Can
What
join it.
if you're sticking male and female lions together? What if
oh,
this
they're just
battle...
fucking mate. That's what.
Yeah, but what if this battle
Oh.
takes however long a lion could be pregnant for? They can actually multiply.
Yeah, and then what
Oh.
happens is the Pokemon protect the Ditto, just fucking plow that for a few days, and then you got unlimited. You got unlimited
God damn it.
Pokemon.
Dale's gonna be busy.
Holy shit, that's actually a decent point though. If
Yeah.
lions can breed, can't Pokemon as
But
well?
the lions, I looked
Yeah.
up, lions have pregnancy in 110 days. So
Yeah,
it would take
like-
long.
Think
Oh,
about
um,
how many Onyxes a Ditto can shit out. quickly. You know what I mean? And then they just like roll about, snake away. Got no chance, have they? Yeah, I think no breeding allowed. I think that's unfair.
Breeding, it's just going to be a constant loop.
Oh yeah, it
Yeah,
would last
turn
and
forever.
then never-ending battle.
It'd go on forever.
It'd never end.
Yeah.
You would
I
be
think-
able to do nothing.
Yeah, I think it's just a case of like there's certain Pokemon that like genuinely lions could never touch, and that's the problem. I don't think, as I said, unless there's a time limit or unless there's a thing where the Pokemon hit themselves, there's just nothing they can do. Literally, a fucking Pidgey could just sit in a tree the entire time.
Yeah, exactly. Say if
Oh,
it was
lions can
red,
climb trees.
Yeah, but like it could be a really tall tree.
But not good.
Can climb
Lions
really
aren't
tall
good
trees.
climbers, okay?
Oh man, that's the thing. Like, which Pokemon realistically put up like a huge struggle for 1 billion lions? I think Steelix is a good mention. Darkrai is also another one because it's just got the pocket dimension.
Like you said
Deoxys
about
can go to
Macargo and the
space,
heat
goes
as well.
out
That's a
like
good
crazy.
shout.
Yeah.
The
But,
heat
like,
of the
Middle
sun.
and-
You can't
Yeah,
get
but if you-
close.
But then if you look at like the animes and shit, how come they're like able to stand so close to
I
them?
mean, you've got.
If that was true,
I don't want to be
then
controversial
surely-
here as well. Sorry, Phoebe's gone.
if that was true, surely just everyone in the Pokemon universe will be incinerated instantly since like the first Macargo was ever been made, or they are able to like control that temperature so that they never actually just annihilate everything around them, or it's just a massive over exaggeration by the Pokedex.
Yeah.
But that, like, there is also an argument, and this is gonna like be really boring again. But surely, if you stick like a freaking horsey in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, that's gonna outlive all the everything else because a lion can't swim that far physically.
True. We also assume that it's like a giant plane, flat plane basically, where you have Pokemon one side, lions the other.
So then all the water types just flop over and die slowly, just like
No, because they can
this
sort
is
of live
bad.
out of water.
A
like you see.
Goldeen can't.
A
You're telling me
Goldeen? A Magikarp?
Yeah, what are they
Yeah, but you
doing?
look at the anime and stuff,
Smash. You know what I
They
mean?
prefer the water, but they can still live out and like fight Pokemon battles on
But
land.
Marcogo has a higher surface temperature than the sun. So if you plop in the middle of the lions, they are gonna be dead.
They're toast, mate. They are toast.
They are gonna be they're gonna be melt.
What do you reckon the lion tastes like? Like in terms of
Uh,
meat?
I want.
Somebody can look it up.
Yeah, do you reckon it's like because it's quite? Do you reckon it's quite close to cow? It's got to be in it, really.
Oh, hold on. Corey's just mentioned thing. Giratina sending all the lions to the ocean world.
Giratina
True,
sending
they
all
die
the
from
lions to
that.
the distortion realm. An answer to your question, Spuddy, Corey reckons it'd be tougher than kangaroo. That's such an
Kangaroo.
Australian thing to say as well, isn't it?
Fucking harder than a roux, mate. Fucking harder than a roux.
Oh, apparently, lion tastes like rich and gammy with notes of duck in it. Apparently,
What?
It tastes like pork but richer.
Fair enough.
That's what it tastes like.
Cheers, Liam, mate. Thank
He's
you.
proud of himself there. He's so proud of himself.
Brilliant.
By the
Wait,
way,
the
he
legend
didn't
is
Google that. He
asking.
just looked in his notes and when he went to that trip to Africa and was like, what did lion taste like? Yeah, that's the right.
Legend is asking, do regional forms count as a separate species?
I don't know what that means.
I'd say yeah, include regional forms alongside like the Kanto forms.
So like
Because,
Alolan
like-
Vulpix and Kanto Vulpix, etc., etc.
Yeah, like that
It's like-
adapted to the kind of different species. Like if you were
Or
to
the
say, oh yeah,
Galarian.
evolution stuff, you've got this type of goldfinch that's like good at cracking open nuts, and this one that's great at eating insects. They are still like separate species, aren't they? Like you still consider them different things because if you put the nut cracking one in an insect situation, it would die, and
But
vice
I
versa.
think the clarification of a species is that they can't breed with the original species, the species they came from. Well, they can effectively breed out producing offsprings and whatever usable offsprings.
Yeah, when they can't do that anymore, they're considered completely separate species.
Yeah. So I think since the regional forms, I think they can breathe with each other. Or no, it's tough to answer.
I think this is an argument that'll never get solved. It'll go on till the end of time
I think
until
we just
we
solved it,
see.
actually.
At least we'll get kind of.
Lions.
We need to see like someone create a simulation of it, really, don't we?
Yeah.
I literally think it's as simple as this, though. I didn't want to bring it up straight away because I didn't. You've got to have a solid argument. But it's literally, if it's anime Pokemon, they always win. If it's game Pokemon, Lions always win, and that's it.
It's
Yeah.
all determined on
Back to the map
the
as well.
dimension we're in. So
Yeah.
it's anime or game.
I don't think that there's any argument otherwise either, to be honest. Because, like,
Yeah.
as I said, if you've got like in one, they will eventually just start whacking themselves on the head, and in the other, they can generate black holes. So
Yeah.
Which Pokemon can generate a black hole?
God of War.
there you go.
I think
Can
it's,
it?
yeah.
God of War can, yeah. Someone in chat said God of War can create black
I did
holes
not
to
know
protect
that.
it.
Yeah.
Apparently not. No, they said it was to protect the trainer.
Yeah.
Oh, there are no
Like
trainers
they-
in this instance, though.
Yeah,
But-
but, you just
But they
fucking
have the ability
buff the trainer.
to do it.
True. I think most Pokemon have the ability to do something crazy, but they're not in that intense situation where they have to like protect their trainer. They may be fighting in terms of like a billion lions, but it's not like
Look,
to the death or
generation.
who wins.
I'm
Well,
on
it's to the death.
I'm Molopia currently. Generation 4 Platinum. To protect its trainer, it will expend all its psychic power to create a small black hole.
There you
That's
go.
only
No.
small though.
Game
Yeah.
over.
Is it
But a
small
black,
in?
yeah, even if it's a
is
small
in
black hole, it's still
length
gonna
or
swallow up
mass?
the Earth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everything.
but if it's small in length, if it's a quartz size, that's more massive than the so Earth, I can't speak. So that will slowly consume. But if it's small in mass, it will probably explode the Hawking radiation immediately and kill a bunch of lions.
Can I just say how much this is Liam's forte right now? Science.
I
mixed with
have
Pokemon.
no idea.
He is
what's
loving
going on,
this
to be honest.
completely.
Well,
No Pokemon
Well,
players.
I'm gonna force things on anyway, because like I said, this argument will go on for hours and hours and hours, and we'll probably never get a definitive answer. So we're gonna randomly change subject and have drama that was hit with us at the beginning of this week, which is, and not a lot of people are gonna like it, the European Super League. A couple of things about it for people that don't know what the European Super League was. So it was created basically for profit and revenue. 12 of the Europe's biggest clubs announced plans to break away from the established football order and form a Super League. Many made by the owners of the big clubs, in quotations, by the chairman, Florentino Perez, for if I get these names wrong, my bad, for Real Madrid. The vice chairman, which was Andrea Agnelli, is that right, Spuddy? For Juventus, and then the vice chairman, Joel Glazer, for obviously Manchester United. Ugh. And the teams that were in it were Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United, Tottenham Hotspur, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, Real Madrid, AC Milan, Inter Milan, Juventus, and there was going to be 3 more clubs to join. Dortmund, Bayern Munich, PSG, Porto, and Sevilla all refused to join. UEFA and FIFA was not happy. There was potential talks of kicking teams / players out of the Premier League, Champions League, and their national teams. There would have been no relegation in this league. First place would have got 300 million roughly if they won it. If you win the Champions League, you get 100 mil. If you win the Premier League, you get about 150 mil. So basically, small teams in certain leagues kind of miss out on that money as well. Fans would have to travel abroad more during tough times in the pandemic. Small league fans won't get to go to the big stadiums. Games will be played midweek, and the clubs will use weaker teams in the Premier League, apparently. And then I added at the bottom that football is for the fans. Spuddy, Liam, everyone else. Thoughts and opinions. Oh, and I will actually quickly add, as I wrote all that up at the beginning of the week. And since then, all of those teams backed out, apart from Barcelona, Real Madrid,
I'm pretty sure it's
Juventus?
Barcelona.
Barcelona are basically unofficially exited it because they basically got to have a vote from the fans to say yes, and because they own like a portion of the club. And they're never going to go ahead with it. So it's essentially just Juventus and Real Madrid at this point.
I'm pretty sure it's Juve and Real Madrid left in it, isn't it?
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah. So as all that, it's basically fallen apart because the fans, the celebrities, everyone was outraged, and all these big clubs started to back out from it once they got so much basically hate from it, and it all kind of crumbled. So that's kind of where we're at now at the end of this week.
I'm so glad.
Yeah. To put it into context in terms of why the outrage, because I imagine to some, especially if you're not a football fan or if you're an American sport fan, you could imagine them thinking like, oh, so it's all of the best teams coming together and playing each other. Surely that's great. Why wouldn't everyone want that? And the point is that football, especially here in England and obviously in other countries, it's a sport that's like so depth in history. It's been going for like 150 years. You've got people that have been watching the same competition for their entire lives and they're like 80 years old. It's something where, so these owners have basically bought a club that is hundreds of years old, has got this fan base, has got all of these achievements. They bought that, and they're now trying to use that name and that community that club has brought together and use it just to make money. And obviously, they're business people. They have every right to do that. But what they're doing is they're dealing with something that's bigger than a business. It's, as I said, a community. It's people. It's like it's all of their weekends. It's all the people they know. They've dedicated their lives to this thing. And what they were threatening to do essentially was to go into a European competition. Probably that would only be the competition that they would do, because they would probably leave the domestic side of things, as I said, where you've got all of these titles and you've got all this history and all these games played in the past, would literally be wiped out in minutes. And they're essentially trying to take that away. They would probably do like world tours where they're going to, you know, Man United would play Real Madrid in Australia, blah, blah, blah. And what you would essentially lose is you'd lose those clubs in their local area. And when you've got, as I said, people that have dedicated their lives to those clubs, you see it all the time. You've got people that have got tattoos on their chests of like the Chelsea badge, or you know, some twat with one on his chest.
Wow, because it's United.
Like, these are people that have dedicated their lives to this, and you're trying to take that away from them. One, you're trying to take away from all the other fans as well, because as soon as you move those clubs out of a league, that league dies overnight. It really does, as bad as it sounds, because the interest isn't there. So you're jeopardizing those clubs as well, and you would be losing the essence of why a football team is a football team. And the reason a football team is a football team is because of the fans. And, you know, when you go and I don't know how many people are sports fans in this regard, but when you go to like Liverpool and you hear all of those fans chanting, "We never walk alone," it stirs up such an emotion and such like a feeling. And, you know, that's what everyone like that watches football lives for, is those moments. And when you're threatening to take that away and stick it in Thailand for a game, and, you know, make it so that everyone's got to pay 300 quid every time they want to go see Real Madrid away, the sport would be no longer a working man's sport. It would just be something that you'd watch on telly rather than experience live. So go on.
Bear in mind as well, they would have destroyed Old Trafford, Anfield over time as well. They wouldn't have been grounds. They would have built houses on. And there's so much history in them grounds as well to just jeopardise it like that. It would have destroyed the whole of football, in my opinion. And it's not just the Premier League. It would have destroyed the Championship, League One and League Two, because the big teams give the clubs in League One and Two money. There would have been so many clubs who would have.
But they do business together, don't they? Like with transfer of players and stuff like that. Like United have dealt with Preston North End, for example, and vice versa, and so many other clubs.
when we was in lockdown first, obviously I'm from Shrewsbury. The top 6 clubs gave a certain amount of money to Shrewsbury to keep them running. If they were in this Super League, they wouldn't have done that, and Shrewsbury would be bust now. Do you know what I mean?
The owners that dictated this, they did not care about the sport. They were doing this for their own gain in terms of they run themselves into debt through their own accord, through their own lack of management of these football clubs. And essentially, they would, as you said, a League One, League Two, all of the footballing world would have gone slowly into complete disarray. And they wouldn't have cared because they would have been like, yeah, but we're part of this really cool league that everyone's watching. And they would have just watched the world around them burn for the sake of a few quid, essentially. And the reason why, especially a club like, I think if this had actually gone ahead in any way, a club like Liverpool would have themselves, the fans, burned down Anfield.
They would have turned off the team.
Yeah. Because
Liverpool fans.
Because this goes against everything. Like, in their heads, these owners, they think that every game has to be this massive spectacle. You have to have the best team versus the best team constantly, otherwise people aren't interested. And actually, as football fans, we actually quite enjoy watching a big team versus a little team and having a little underdog story. It actually is kind of what makes the game beautiful. And you know, it's the same with, like, you know, if you go watch a tennis match, you don't always want to see like a huge guy against a huge guy. You want to see a build up. You want to make those games special. If you're having them every week, it's pointless. At that point, it's not special. And what would happen is that you would have, like, let's say Man United versus Juventus, two of the biggest teams. But if they're in that league and they're 8th and 9th place, no one cares anymore. That game becomes... Yeah, that game becomes like a Burnley versus Newcastle. Like, no one cares about it, and you're actually in a way tarnishing the images of those teams in the long run. But they don't care about that. They care about the fact that they're earning a few quid out of it, and they can get some more sponsors in. That's my big speech about it. It's just it's a crazy thing that they suggested. I'm so glad that it stopped, but it shows that these owners, they do not care about anything apart from the money. They do not care about the fans. They do not care about the fact they're willing to use that
Perez,
history.
the chairman of the owner of Real Madrid and the chairman of this, basically said that basically the finance comes priority and basically the welfare for the footballing world comes second. He's admitted that in a statement.
I will sum it up like this, and that'll be my final thing on it. They used this phrase. So one of the board members of a team used this phrase. They said, "We know that we will upset legacy fans." So they're calling football fans of currently that have dedicated so much money into that club, bought every shirt every season, you know, supported them every single game, bought season tickets for like 30 odd years. They're just calling them legacy fans. And we're only interested in new fans being introduced into the sport. Like, when an owner thinks like that at a football club, they're so away with the fairies. It's a joke. Like, it's so beyond just a slight like misdemeanor in terms of what they thought they could get away with, but they can't. This is them taking the essence of football and sport and ripping it away for some profit. It's terrible.
It's fucked.
Yeah, because when I had to do my research, as soon as it came out, I had to do my research on it. 'Cause it had been in talks in the past, which I've been told about, and I had no idea. So I did my research on it, found out why everyone was so angry. And it was kind of good to see even the biggest people that have retired from football and stuff like the great example that I'm going to use that I've got written down here as well is Rashford has done bits during the pandemic. Like, for kids that are less privileged families or people that have lost jobs because of the pandemic, he did kind of the vouchers where you could go and get a bit of money and you could go get more food or whatnot if you needed it. And he's also just recently launched a book club that encourages disadvantaged children to read more and is going to be giving out 50,000 books across 850 primary schools across the UK. Now, you're not telling me someone like that is going to stand behind the Super League. Like, there's just no fucking way. Not only the fact that the fans would have lost out, like, the players and the staff had no say, no nothing. It would have affected their jobs, their careers, because they wouldn't... There's going to be players there. They're not going to want to stay with that club and support something they don't agree in.
But bear in mind, if these players went to the Super League, they couldn't have played for the national team as well. Do you really think Rashford, Harry Kane and that would have said yes to that? They would have left United and Tottenham and joined the likes of... I reckon Rashford would have joined the likes of West Ham or something just to play for England.
And those teams, they will be able to get another job because those teams will snap them up. Not a problem.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You forget a lot of those players as well. They came up and were like brought into the footballing world, playing at the likes of, like Jordan Henderson played at Sunderland, all of these Premier, like Harry Maguire played at Hull. Like they were brought up from the little teams coming up. And if they're thinking that they're just going to isolate those from the football pyramid and then have this elite tier, they're thinking that could be me. I could have been stuck there, earning nothing, no eyes on me whatsoever. And then that could have been my career. And it's also just a case of like, again, just not neglecting the fact of what these players actually stand for. And also the thing on Rashford as well is that I think it does, like, not to get political about it, it shows a vague incompetence of the government when you've got a footballer bringing all of this to light and, bringing, like, he's the only one that's actually, like, lobbying for all of this stuff that's actually, like needed in terms of, what children need, essentially. They need food and they need education.
He's a young adult himself, and he's the one that's...
And it's on his shoulders. A 21-year-old man, it's on his shoulders to introduce this all when you've got, XYZ like minister in the House of Commons doing fuck all. You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't want to get too political about it, but
no. But it was just the perfect example of someone that won't stand with it. Like, even, I'm very biased as a United fan, but even Sir Alex Ferguson, and he's got a big role at the club, had no say in it whatsoever. He was even sickened by it. And obviously he kind of described how he went through Scotland in the lower league teams, and that's where he all started and then worked his way up. But you'd lose all that.
Imagine how fickle you have to be to post something on a Thursday evening at 11 o'clock that is going to change so many people's lives through a business decision, and not coming out with like a public face in terms of, I'm actually like saying it to you. No, just making a statement, pressing go on Twitter, and then expecting everyone to just accept it overnight. Like, I don't even think that they realised that it's actually going to gain traction. I don't think they truly believed it would go ahead, because you can't think that that's an okay thing to do.
Tom.
Sickens me as well. They've done it in a global pandemic where fans had no say in it. It's just stupid, really. Like, if the fans were allowed in the ground, do you realise how much hassle would have been in that ground if that Super League news come out?
There would have been people on the pitch. There would 100%.
Yeah.
That Monday.
And how long exactly do you think these Super League news has been like around? Because do you remember when Newcastle wanted? This is a theory, by the way. Do you remember when Newcastle wanted them billionaire owners and it all crashed? Do you reckon the likes of Joel Glazer, who wanted to do the Super League, said no to that because they didn't want to see the likes of Newcastle play Barcelona, Real Madrid and stuff? Because they would have been an elite team. If they signed all them players, what they were going to sign, they would have been up there.
For me, that's kind of irrelevant, because of the point that the reason that we're in this spot right now is because we've got businessmen and billionaires running football clubs. We haven't got people that care about the sport in any way, shape or form. We've got these people that have made their living off, investment banking, or, being a person that is the director of an airline, and they're now, or, even a prince in terms of Man City's case. They're not even a business person. They just fucking own a country. Like, you've got these people in charge of football clubs. So in terms of like something like Newcastle, it would just be a repeat of this. It'd be more people that are business people in something that doesn't concern business people realistically. It's a sport. If you try and take away sport and what it does and ruin that essence, you're going to have just this soulless thing where it's just the best people playing the best people all the time. No underdog stories, no things that are coming out of the blue, nothing like that. It's just going to be, we've got fucking Messi against Ronaldo this week. Oh, we got Messi against Ronaldo in the next week. Oh, we got it again.
But it would have been so boring over time. Basically, what I'm going to compare this to is a Domino's pizza, all right?
Right, everyone strap in.
There we go. Get ready for this, guys.
No. You're
Okay,
all
ready.
laughing, but think about it. Would you get bored having a Domino's pizza every week for free? Basically, the Super League would be amazing for 3 weeks. I'd watch it for 3 weeks straight, but then it'd get boring. That's where the Domino's comes into play. You wouldn't want a Domino's for 4 weeks straight, would you? Every week, it'd get boring. I love watching. No.
I'll take it.
Boring. After 6, this is where the egg on toast comes into play. I love watching United.
Egg on toast from Domino's.
Yeah, egg on toast. Do you like that, didn't you?
What, from Domino's?
You never mentioned egg on toast until that.
Yeah, I did. I'm basically the likes of Barcelona, Everton, Real Madrid, Juventus, a Domino's Pizza. Okay, you don't want to watch them every single week because it'll get boring. This is where egg on toast comes into play. I love watching United go away to Fulham, West Ham, West Brom, and stuff. I love it. Do you know what I mean? That's the egg on toast football.
The worst analogy I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
And also,
My guy used Domino's and egg and toast in the same
Yeah.
fucking sentence.
You know what? Halfway through that, I knew I fucked up.
We definitely couldn't tell, Chad. We definitely couldn't tell. Yeah,
No, can I also say as well, beloved Manchester United fan, we did get a little bit of good that come out of this. We got to say goodbye to Ed because he
but you
resigned.
still got the Glazers, though.
I know, but it's a little something. Now,
It's a little baby
you're not telling me that's sus, that he's kind of just thrown in the towel.
Did you read what he said at the time? He said, I was leaving in December anyway. I just, it seemed to escalate it quite quickly. And then the next week, I think it was like yesterday, the Glazers came out and said, oh, we're sad that Ed Woodward left. And it's like, hold on, you thought he was leaving anyway. And they're like, oh, no, he wasn't. And it's like, oh, okay.
There's also
bollocks.
There's also rumours about Van der Sar taking Ed Woodward's place as well, which I'd love. But I don't see him coming with the Glazers.
He's not going to play football, just to be clear.
Well, I do have a question. I know, right, chat. Yeah, we're going to get more talking out of Spuddy, right? I want to... what's happening? Link's thrown off everyone's names right about now, so I apologise everyone watching at home. He's turned his camera off. Spuddy, what I want to know is, why are you so passionate about it? You don't support a Premier League team. Why are you so passionate about it? Even though you don't support a big team, say like what Liam and I do. Your team wasn't in that league. That's what I'm interested for.
There's two arguments with this. Firstly, it would affect my club, but it would have been a case where it would have affected them 5-6 years down the line. And honestly, that wasn't the issue for me. The issue was the second part. I know fans that have had season tickets at Stamford Bridge for 30 plus years. Okay, I know people that. Do you know when at the start of lockdown they were charging 15 quid a game, Sky Sports, every time you wanted to watch a game? I know people that paid that. I know people that have got, as you said, like tattoos on them. They've got every single program in their garage from every single game. I know people that have dedicated their lives to these clubs, and to have that potentially thrown away because people want to make a few quid, it's so unbelievably unjust, and it would ruin the game that we all love. Like, it would be, at that point, it would just be exhibition football, because what you would be having is so the format itself, by the way, was terrible. What you would be having is you'd be having 36 games in that league, utterly meaningless because no one can go up or down. And then you would have like a little cup afterwards, essentially. So the whole point was that like the top 4 go automatically into the knockouts, or the top 7 maybe, and then 2 afterwards, go into little playoffs, blah, blah, blah. And it goes into a knockout after. So you play these 36 games, and then if you lose one, doesn't matter. You could win every single one before that, lose the first one of the knockout groups, done. Like, that's not a league, in my opinion, anyway, in terms of from a footballing point of view. But regardless, it would have turned the game from being
It would have died.
Being an English game in terms of like from those 6 teams. Anyway, I'm only looking from those 6 teams' point of view from England. You know, those clubs would have slowly, over time, moved abroad, and you would only see 3 or 4 games from Liverpool. Like, if you're a Liverpool diehard fan, you would only have been able to see 3 or 4 games at home a year. And I know Liverpool fans, and I know that would literally, like, they would be heartbroken by that, and that would be their weekends ruined. That would be their lives, not lives ruined, that's an overstatement, but it would be such a big part of their life taken away by the greed of essentially 12 men. Because that's what it is. It's 12 men that were thinking that this was a good idea and that they would earn. And this is the thing as well. It's not even like that they're people that need money. These are billionaires where this second billion that they might earn doesn't matter. Like, their children are going to be fine for not only this generation, not only the next, but like 17 down the line. This is the wealth that these people have got. And they are willing, and they are buying into something that isn't a business. It's not Amazon. It's not eBay. It's not Google. It's a sport, and it's something that people feel passion for, and it's something that brings people together, which is very rare nowadays. There's not too many things that do that, frankly. And to have that soul sucked out of it by people that want to, take statues down and put a popcorn stand and stuff like that, like, it's history, and it's so much more than just football at this stage. It's bringing together people. I should say it's so hard nowadays. And that's the reason why I felt like if they'd gone ahead with this and it had gone full swing, I think we would have, like, especially in this country, I think we would have been in real trouble very quickly, because there would have been a lot of people that have got all this angst about it. It would have just been riots.
For me, my biggest thing of it is, in English football, just as an example, we have great rivalries: United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham. We have these great rivalries. We hate those teams with a passion. We hate the clubs with a passion. We hate the players with a passion because of that, the rivalry. That's what it is. The games are heated. The players even have a rivalry with each other on the pitch. But then when push comes to shove, we all get together, say, when England are playing in World Cups, Euros. We all get together. Like, we remember what it was like in the World Cups. We were so fucking close, and how it brought the whole even if you didn't do football, in that World Cup, the country was together. We believed it was coming home. And that's what they were potentially stripping away from us. And another example, Manchester United, Manchester City, big rival teams. The tragic event of the Manchester bombings, both clubs got together, represented the Manchester Bee because of that tragic disaster. And if we had all that taken away from us, we're not going to be united. With football, we were always kind of together and all there for each other and back each other up. But they were going to strip that away from us because they didn't care about us.
Do you not think that there's sort of like a mutual respect as well? Like, even between, if you're talking to like an England fan and a France fan, or like a Man City fan and a Man U, that's like, I know that you're as passionate about your club as I am about mine. Like, I don't like it because you're the opposite club, but I also kind of like it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's the same with anything. You need someone to bounce. You need someone that's as passionate about the opposite of you as you to bounce off and have that. And that makes a spark. Do you know what I mean? That makes things exciting. That makes things passionate, because you're like, I gotta fuck you guys up.
And with that passion and all that kind of almost fake hate towards each other, when your teams do come across each other and clash, that's what makes the exciting game. But with the Super League, we're going to see that rival club every fucking week.
Yeah.
It's just going to fizzle out with the rival. Like, I love the hype to a Manchester derby. I fucking love that shit. The build up during the week, watching previous games, hoping a player's injured, because we get to play that team at most twice a season.
You're never, if you get this Super League concept, yeah, you're never going to see the sporting events like, for example, Leicester when they won the title.
That was
You're never going to see. Do you remember when Wigan won the FA Cup against Man City? Like, you're never going to see those moments because they won't exist, because there will never be a club that's that level. There won't ever be a bad club. They'll all be kind of similar. I mean,
and I
might
think
be
as
like
well, like down to what Leah mentioned, championship teams, like championship teams getting promoted is a buzz, is an excitement that they get promoted because they get to play with the likes of your Manchesters, your Chelseas, your Tottenhams, your Arsenals. That's what they want to play against and battle against to try and actually beat them clubs. But as soon as you take them clubs out of that competition, there's not going to be as drive from the championship for them to want to go and do it. It's dead.
And also, what I wanted to say is, how can they class the Super Six as Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, and that? Arsenal have been shit for like 4 years straight. Leicester's been quality for 4 years now. How ain't Leicester a Super 16 is my question. And also, Ajax, going out of the Premier League, Ajax have won 4 Champions League trophies, and they didn't get a question in this Super League. Ajax are a Super League club, in my opinion. They only wanted the money. They know Ajax don't have the money. They only went for the money clubs.
The money club, yeah, the clubs that got funded behind them, yeah, I agree.
Honestly,
the club.
Looking at this as someone who doesn't really watch football, aside from maybe like every now and then with my dad, because he watches Aston Villa.
Hey.
I know it's just greed and capitalism and commercialism and just wanting money. It's disgusting to see because you're selling out these people's lives and dedications and passions in pursuit of just monetary gain that serves nothing to you. You're not going to give that back to the community. You're not going to give that back to people who actually need it. You're just going to sit with that money in your bank thinking, oh, look at me, I'm a billionaire. It is more than disgusting.
This, as I said, like to bring it back to earlier, this is the problem where, as you said, like Liam was saying about the Newcastle takeover, this is what happens when you invite all of these people that have got an only interest in wealth and they've only got an interest in money, and you bring them into something that should realistically, as much as it can be like true to itself, which is competition, which is like almost a cult-like thing where you've got like clubs that you're dedicating yourself to. You shouldn't then be trying to monetize every single aspect of that and trying to extrapolate as much as you can from something and try and make it as soulless as possible, when the whole point of it is that it's so passionate and it's so soulful realistically. And just bringing more of these capitalists, as you said, Phoebes, bringing more of these like capitalists into it, it's just slowly going to be ripping it more and more away from that and just turning into like what a lot of the time a lot of US sports are, which is only there as a spectacle, realistically, and it's to show how physically impressive all of these people are. Like, if you go and watch an NBA game, a lot of the times they focus more on the fact of like how high this guy can dunk and all of these like incredible athlete aspects of it, rather than whereas I feel like something like football has like a beauty of the game and tactics and whatnot. And you'd be dragging that away from it and making it a spectacle. You'd be wanting people to, play 90 minutes every 2 days and, to have them be like physically as fit as possible and, muscles ripping from everywhere. Well, that's not really what football's about. Football's about the nuances and, the coming together and the clashes of styles and stuff like that. But they don't care about that. All they care about is selling more kits. and selling more tickets to fans in, Singapore and Australia and places that don't really mean anything. And I also think that those people, those foreign fans, for example, that these people are kind of catering for right now, I think they'd look through it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
If they had this like fake league, I think they'd pretty quickly see, you know what, this is kind of actually bollocks.
Yeah.
This actually isn't authentic in any way and feels very superficial and, has, as I said, like no soul to it whatsoever. And I think that it would then be a case where you'd see those people going back to, essentially old school football quite quickly. And thankfully, we haven't had to see that, but I can imagine that would be what would happen slowly. It's kind of similar to how the US, do you know how they've got college football, which is essentially kind of amateur football? And it's just as popular as the NFL, which is obviously the main league. And that's because people just want to see, like, the odd mistake, and they want to see, like, heated rivalries rather than just the best team versus the best team constantly. But yeah, I do agree, though. It's definitely a case where, the capitalists, and it's also been a case where they've been allowed to be brought in slowly as well. Like, they should never, you should never have said yes to an owner that's the Prince of Qatar. I'm sorry, that shouldn't be. You should be like, no, you don't care about football. Fuck off. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you should set the same for like Man United, where it's like, oh, this is a billionaire that's earned all his money through banking. What do you know about football? Fuck all. Okay, goodbye. Do you know what I mean? That should be the conversation that's had, but it's not.
No.
What I hate as well, all of these teams that wanted to get out of the Premier League haven't been punished. In my opinion, Man United, Chelsea should have got every single trophy swiped and put into League Two for a punishment.
At the same time, though, but at the same time, you're punishing the
I
club.
think they should
It's
have,
not
honestly.
the club; it's the owner behind that club. It's just
Yeah, but
that bloke. It's just that bloke that's trying to get rich that just has that club name with him because he's kind of using that
but they still
club.
portrayed the Premier League.
Yeah, but it's
Also,
not the team itself. Like, you're stripping, you want to strip away everything that these players have put blood, sweat, and tears into. Whereas it wasn't nothing to do with them. It was just the guy in the suit that has his name attached to the club.
Counter argument to that, though, there has been umpteen cases in the Championship and below where teams have gone into administration or the owners have put themselves in a huge amount of debt that had to be taken over. And what's happened is the Football League's then gone, right, okay, so you're now deducted 15 points or you're now put into the bottom tier of football. Wimbledon in years gone by, Dan, you might have remembered, like they got brought down into, essentially National League football because their owners fucked up. Bolton recently is a good example of a big club that's had to go into administration and they've had to swoop down. That wasn't the players' fault. That wasn't the fans' fault. But they've now got punished for it. So why is it any different because you're a big sick club? And the reason is because you earn them money. They're not going to punish you
down to the money,
because you earn them too much money. They're using those other teams as an example to be like a warning. But then when the big club does it, they're like, don't worry about it. It's fine. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's the same with like, I don't know, a music artist or something like that. When it's a big, all of a sudden, if it's a big band and they go like, over time or they go like, like I think, who was it? It's Foo Fighters, yeah? There was a Reading Festival and they played until like 2 a.m. and they didn't get fined or anything like that. They don't care. You know what I mean? That's their spot. They only had an hour slot and they took up 3 hours. No one cares because it's Foo Fighters. You're not going to tell them off. It's the same with you guys. You're Man United. It's not going to tell you off. Do you know what I mean? That'd be silly. Yeah. That might lose us money. And that's what it is. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like the little team get fucked over because it's principle and it's rules. And then when the big teams break the rules, it's like, but we can't do anything about that. They're Man United. We got to let them be.
Yeah, can't
That's
touch
just
them,
society in a nutshell.
Squad, what are your thoughts on this? I know I'm assuming you don't do football and you've been very quiet. Have you got any thoughts or anything to say about it?
Not really.
Great talk. Great talk.
Doritos.
Right, so I do have a second thing to ask everyone. Right, now we know it's been quashed pretty much. Just 2 teams in it. Good luck to them making a fucking league with 2 teams. Whatever.
Yeah, they're not making it.
Where do we go from here? It's still got to change something, right? This has still got some sort of knock-on effect, right? Things don't just go back to the way they were, do they?
The
Oh. Yeah, pretty much.
I disagree. I think the main thing that's got to change is that they've got to have fan ownership for these clubs. I think that the Germany,
Can I pause
for
you,
example.
Spuddy? Oh no, you're about to do it. I was just about to get Liam to
That's
tell
what
us
I was
about
gonna
that,
say
but
as
yeah.
well.
Oh, go on then. Yeah, go on then.
Who wants to say it, me or you?
You, Liam.
Well, basically, Germany, every single team in Germany have a 50-50 percentage. So 50% of the fans own the club, basically. If the Premier League had a 50% fan base ownership, none of this would have happened in the first place because everyone would have voted against it. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
why can't every league have a 50? Because it's all about the fans at the end of the day. If there's no fans in that ground, what is football? We've seen that over lockdown. Do you know what I mean? Football's been dead. I haven't watched half of the games since fans haven't been in the ground.
Neither have I. No.
Exactly.
It loses
It's
that
all about
spark
fans.
to it, doesn't it? Like
Yeah.
the fans at the grounds kind of add to the drama and the songs and whatnot.
And how many fans? Go on, Spuddy.
I was going to say the only thing that you can have a problem with is that, for example, Man United are worth £2 billion. Like there isn't enough fans, literally in Manchester. Yeah, so when you're saying I want the fans to buy the club, 50% of the club, that means I want the local fans because the ones that live in, as I said, elsewhere in the world, the Spains and the Russia or whatever, they're not going to buy the club. That's ridiculous. So you're talking about local people, yeah? And let's say that there's 100,000 people that are willing to buy the club. They've got to pay £1,000 each to buy half of it. Not going to happen. You're in Manchester. It's a working class city. You're never going to be able to buy the club. And this is the problem where they let these billionaires buy football clubs and now they can't reverse it. That's the unfortunate reality of unless you've got government intervention. And Boris Johnson, I hate to break it to you, has tried to sell public things. They haven't tried to buy them back. That's never happened. Unless you have government intervention, you fucked it. Because you can't buy 50% of Man United. You haven't got £1 billion waiting. That's the problem. So, unfortunately, as much as a great idea that is, Germany introduced it early on and hit them with it quickly. We're now past that stage. We've fucked it. we've let billionaires buy stuff. You can't compete with billionaires. They're too rich, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So it'd be lovely to though. I'd love to see that be the case. But unfortunately, sport's gone too far now. You've got, as I said, you've literally, you haven't even got billionaires buying stuff now. Man City is owned 100% by the prince of a country. You've got countries buying football clubs. What can you do? You can't compete with that. You know what I mean? That's crazy. They've got trillions of pounds, and a trillion is a ridiculous number. They've got that, and they're willing to spend it on a football club. So you can't expect 60,000 Man City fans to buy that because they've got to get mortgages to do that. Do you know what I mean? And that's the unfortunate reality of what we're looking at. Is we're looking at clubs that are desperately fans are clinging on to fans are now looking at other billionaires, if that makes sense. They're looking at Newcastle's a great example where they've got a shit owner right now and they're hoping that a slightly better owner comes in and buys them out. But what's the there's always a chance that owner's even worse than the first one, but they got to try and run the risk because they've got no other options. And that's what happens when you have too much money in a sport, unfortunately.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Does anyone feel like they've got some steam off, especially you two down there?
I mean,
I've got
of course
75 minutes in me, mate, but I'm joking.
Yeah, you do football. I'm just relieved that it didn't go ahead. I was like the millions of us, we was scared. I was scared on the fact that we wouldn't have been able to wear our shirt in public because even for me being on stream or whatever, and having them in the background, I would have got so much hate and so much stick. I wouldn't have been able to wear my shirt, my team with pride. Like,
I tell
never.
you what, yeah, Scousers, as much as people give them stick, Scousers would have stopped this at some point because
Oh,
they're
their
a
fans
different.
so passionate
They're a
as well.
different breed, yeah?
Yeah.
They've banned a newspaper from their city. Yeah, they banned the I don't even like saying their names, but they banned a Newcastle, fuck me, a newspaper from their city completely. They've managed to eradicate a media source that's owned by a billionaire from their city. If Liverpool City put their mind to it, they fucking accomplish anything. They're a different breed altogether. So they would have stopped this. I mean this genuinely. If this had gone ahead for more than 2 weeks, they would have gone to Anfield and they would have teared down every single part of that stadium brick by hand because they do not care.
Imagine the scenes.
I do not doubt that.
They
though.
would have done it.
No,
though. Like
100%
Liverpool
I
they
believe
would
it.
have.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
They
Would-
have a certain dedication about them that's unparalleled to any city in the UK. 1,000,000%. I believe that as well.
Sick.
Would have you two carried on watching football if this Super League happened, or would have you went off it?
You'd
It
burn
would have
out.
worked for me.
Personally,
It would have been all right for Spuddy because, well, but at the same time though, like initially it would be fine. Early days it'd be fine. We'd all watch this Super League because we'd all want to see what it's about and we'd want to check it out and see if it's any good. And it'd be exciting for a bit to see us against the big teams.
yeah, for like 3
And like
weeks.
you said, Liam, it'll get
Yeah.
boring. The
Yeah,
lower
after
league
3 weeks.
teams, like the championships and that, they could be some bloody good games. And that'll be fun and exciting to a point where long term, that's when you're going to start seeing the effect, aren't you? Like later on down the line. So I think football
Yeah,
would
because-
eventually fizzle out. And I think we'd have no choice but to give up watching because it wouldn't be worth watching.
You would have a scenario where you've got essentially half. So let's say that half the country support one of those big six teams. Yeah, roughly. It might be even bigger than that. Might be like 60%
Yeah.
support one of those 6 teams in the Super League. So you would have had, and let's say now that you've got half of those watch the Super League and half of them disagree with it fundamentally and do not watch it. So you've got 30%, yeah, of the country in limbo. They don't want to watch, a Newcastle versus Burnley, which is the new like all-star game, because they haven't got an affiliation with either team. They don't want to go watch Manchester United because they don't fundamentally believe in what the competition is that they're in. They can't watch England anymore because England doesn't exist because they've now got a new fucking tournament in the Super League that's like, rest of the world versus Europe or something like that they would have made up.
Yep.
So you've got a load of angsty people that are like, I don't know what to do with myself. I love the game of football, but I have no one to support. And what would have happened is slowly over time, another sport would have taken those fans. I'm 100% committed to it.
I've had this asked to me on stream quite recently, like, oh, so what are you gonna do, Danny? Who are you gonna support? And I sat there and I thought about it, and I kind of would have leant towards Tottenham because there's a bit of Tottenham in me because I am originally from down south. But
They're in the same
they're
league.
also in it. They're also in it. And then after that, I thought my heart wouldn't be in it if I just say, "Oh, I'll go support
it was the
Aston
same,
Villa."
would it?
I'll go out and support Aston Villa. I couldn't celebrate a goal, cheer on that team 'cause it's not here. It's not in your heart to cheer that team on. So fuck it, I'm
wouldn't
just gonna
have
go
to
watch some ice hockey or some shit. Watch some men beat each other up. Watch a bit of UFC or something. I don't know. Because your heart,
If
you
you watch
can't support another
competitive
team.
taekwondo,
Yeah, watch a bit of
it's actually
fucking anything.
insane.
Watch anything. I couldn't support another team. It wouldn't be in your heart to. If you're a true
You
football
You wouldn't have
fan.
to match it, would you?
You
I mean,
can't
yeah,
ask
you'd watch
people.
the neutral games. Like it's good being a neutral fan. I love being a neutral fan at the big games. But you're kind of losing the big games because it's Aston Villa v Newcastle, for example.
Yeah, you can't ask people that have supported that have in their head had one thing. It's like asking someone that's been in a relationship for 30 years, their partner dies overnight, and then being like, "You just got to move on instantly." Do you know what I mean? Like, no, that's not how it works. Yeah, I can't just, that was the person I was
Routine
dedicated
as well.
to.
You take it away from people.
Yeah. you can't just be like overnight. Right, I spent 40 years like watching Chelsea. Right, where's my next closest club? Brentford. All right, I support Brentford now. Doesn't work.
Do you not reckon it'd affect, say, like pubs and stuff like that that put sports
obviously.
on their TV? They're going to lose funding because
Oh,
not as
shit,
many
yeah.
people are going to go on the weekends when the football's on, because that's where they'll go. If they can't get to the ground, they'll watch it at the pub with all their mates, won't they?
And there would have been rocks as well in those pubs, because there would have been people that, let's say, were Chelsea fans, and they still are. So they're watching Chelsea in the Super League, and then they've got other Chelsea fans that were Chelsea fans but are no longer Chelsea fans because they're like, this is fucking outrageous. We don't want any part of it. See those other Chelsea fans in there watching the game with their shirts on and want to smash each other up because they're
There
like,
would have been riots in pubs. It would have been.
They would have all
So it would have been this would have been global for all the other teams, so it would have caused so much more shit just outside of football.
It would have just
Like-
killed football, wouldn't it? It would have
Yeah.
just killed.
And like just so many, like I said, pubs would get affected from it, like
In-
financially. People's
in a
businesses.
country like ours as well, where it's the biggest sport, fundamentally, yeah. It's like taking, you know, basketball away from America. It's like taking cricket away from India. It's like taking rugby away from New Zealand. You take a country's like passion and you take it away from them, or you taint it in the way that this would have done in such a manner, you're gonna have such backlash. Like there's just gonna be social backlash beyond belief, and that's why I'm glad that this hasn't gone ahead and that they haven't tried to pursue it further, because of the fact that there would have been riots for a few months. I'm telling you, like, we're passionate about things. This country's passionate about football more, like as number one. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's cult like in this country.
Yeah, that bleeds
for-
into me going on about the World Cup. Look at how the country was about the World Cup. That's the perfect example
Oh,
of how
God.
passionate we are about the sport, even if you don't like football.
When was World Cup, the last one?
Don't make me
2018.
feel old.
Yeah.
2018.
I remember that. I didn't like football or whatever, but the whole like hype, even at school, people were talking about it. Constantly,
we
like,
were gonna
holy
win it.
shit,
It was
really
so
close.
close. Like
That was the best
everybody-
World Cup as well, because we went far. We went out to Croatia. Yeah.
Croatia, that was it.
That was the best summer, I think, of my life, because you had the massive heat wave that we had. It was so
yeah,
hot the
beautiful.
entire time. Beautiful. You had England getting to semi-finals and like could have gone further. I think at that point you had just other stuff going on. Like I had things in my life going on as well. I think that was it's not to get soppy, but the year I met like my girlfriend now. And it was just like there was just so much going on at the same time. It was just like, oh, what a time to be alive! It's incredible.
Like that's that.
Now it's bullshit.
Yeah, it's all gone down the
Yeah.
shit pan, hasn't it? Like 3 years later.
Mm.
It's tragic. But that like you was on about though, we're like a massive cult, and that's what that game does to people that even don't like football. We all get together as one. We're one unit.
I remember being taken out of lesson, like of my whole, was English or something. English class was taken out of lesson pretty much. We just went and sat down by like a willow tree that they have at our school and just talked about football. I swear, it's so strange.
It had an effect on people that don't even like the game.
Everyone was out in my street partying, beers, everything. You don't even watch football. Do you know what I mean? There were tables lined up in my street with beer, everything. It was bloody mental. I loved it. Get
Yeah,
drunk.
you put together a country. You put together a country that love binge drinking and love football, and then put in a competition that happens every 4 years, and we do well at it. Oh, carnage! Carnage!
But it brought us all together. Like I don't remember
Unity.
a year where we was all as a nation happy like that. Like
2012 Summer Olympics in London. I'd probably say
Yeah, that was good.
that was
yeah, that was good, all
insane. That was another massive like unifying moment. But honestly, yeah,
Oh,
It's
I still remember. I think it's Greg Rutherford, wasn't it? The long jumper.
Liam's going for a wander during podcast.
Yeah,
Taking us on a tour, Liam.
is he taking us for
Hey,
a week?
no,
Oh,
no,
he
I'm
is.
on I'm on 10%. I'm trying to find the charging part for you to go in. Otherwise, I'm going to go off. I'll be back
wanna
in a
get
minute.
this
I'm gonna
anywhere
get the
else?
charger.
No.
Brilliant.
And now we have the beautiful sight of his ceiling and his blinds.
But yeah, do you remember Phoebes, do you remember the 2012 Olympics where you had that day where I think in one day Greg Rutherford won the long jump, Mo Farah won, Jessica Ennis.
Jessica
Yeah,
Ennis.
She won the heptathlon, I think it was. And it just all went off at the same time. It was incredible.
Won like
Yeah,
however
it's
many
amazing.
golds in one day. It was insane.
That was a good day.
Yeah, I was young then.
Don't say that.
No. Skip
I
over that.
know, but
I was volunteering at that.
I was 9.
I wasn't.
Jesus, man.
On.
To quickly move things along so I don't start
Yes.
adding grey hairs that I already have, is there anything else that anyone wants to bring up, talk about? Not even related to the Super League. Is there anything else? Because like that was my topics because I knew the Super League was going to be a huge topic. Is there anything else that anyone wants to
I wanted to talk about one more thing, and that's where, how do you think the celebrity and in particular YouTube influence on the sport, where do you think it's going? Because obviously recently we had the Jake Paul versus Ben Askren event.
Yeah.
And
That
the
fight
amount
was
of,
rigged.
like, in terms of the amount of people that watched it, it is probably up there in terms of sporting events that people have paid for this year. And it's against a bloke that has had 3 professional fights versus a bloke that competed in a different sport entirely. How, in terms of this, and you've also got it in terms of celebrity culture with music as well, like 2 out of the top 10 at any, like top 10 music artists at any given point are celebrities rather than music artists nowadays. It feels like, anyway. You've got, like, you know, as much as he's doing well with it, you've got KSI, who isn't a music person. He's in the charts because he's an influencer, realistically. Like, I genuinely believe that if he wasn't an influencer and he just posted that music out, it wouldn't have done as well. It wouldn't have got like top 5. I don't think that would have been the case.
Yeah.
Like, how do we feel like the trajectory of this is? Do you think it's only going to get worse over time, or do you think we're pretty up there now and it's going to slowly dip? Because it feels pretty awful now, I'll be honest. It feels like
It's going to get worse over time.
Yeah, we've
I
got
hope it does, but it probably will do.
TikTokers versus YouTubers coming up.
Yeah.
If people succeed from that event that's gonna spiral things out of control of them separating off and calling out other people for fights. Then there's also KSI calling out Jake Paul, so that them two are gonna want to have that big clash. Then there's also the thing of it's still being aired in the air that it's gonna be Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather, and then if that happens, who fucking knows? Oh, and Jake Paul was it? No, not Jake Paul. Logan Paul was on WWE.
Oh, I saw that. It was mad. Yeah, it was on
Jake
WWE.
Paul was on WWE and he got slammed. Obviously
Stone Cold
scripted.
Stunner, didn't he?
Spoilers for those that didn't know. But there's going to be more of them happening at the big kind of show events. I don't think it's going to end. I think it's just getting worse and worse and worse.
Can I say quickly?
Go on.
Jake Paul, he called out, I think it was someone related to Mike Tyson.
I think he called out Conor McGregor several times.
Jake Paul's called out Tommy Fury as well, hasn't he? Related to Tyson, obviously.
I don't think Jake Paul's got a chance if he goes up. He needs to go up against an actual boxer. He hasn't gone up against someone that is trained in the same sport.
He's fought an MMA fighter who's retired. He's a family man now. He's fought YouTubers. Who's the other ones he's fought? He's never fought a boxer.
A basketball player was the other one.
Within the first round.
Yeah, he's not fought an actual boxer, which Tyson is.
Yeah, exactly.
Ass just handed to him.
My worry though isn't like Jake Paul as my worry. My worry is that all of these legitimate entertainment sources, so music, sport, TV, a lot of the time is now being taken up. Like, you know, you're seeing all these interviews by these influencers now on. Do you think that those legitimate media sources are just going to get overtaken by this celebrity culture slowly over time, because
Yeah.
it feels like music's just going to become like fucking, as I said, like Jake Paul's going to be number one week, and then the next week, oh, it's the
ASI.
yeah, it's KSI, or the week after that, it's fucking some TikToker that no one's heard of. Like, do you think that that's just going to slowly be the case where every single media source is now just influencer central, and that they're just going to isolate the different media sources slowly over time? Because that's my worry. Because you've got sport taken over now. So you've got really taken over boxing and the combat sports. You've got music. Like, TV's not far off, let's be real.
YouTube
That's
and
what I was
TikTok,
going to
you've
say.
got
The
hype
fact
cultures.
of YouTube and TikTok are more your go-to media places now.
Yeah.
Like,
Who even watches
out of
TV?
all of us here, right? Can we have a little mini raise of hands? Who's watched TV this week?
Yes, because there's a series I like.
Apart from football, anything else I haven't watched.
I'll watch TV.
I
What
watch
do you watch?
Taskmaster on like every
Line of
Thursday.
Duty.
It's brilliant.
Anyone likes that?
Turned away from TV now.
For me, and I can probably speak for so many people, I turn to YouTube, Twitch, occasionally
Yeah.
TikTok for my content now.
Yeah.
Unless,
what I do.
no, I can't even say I've watched TV actually, because I was going to say Disney Plus, but I watched that on the internet.
Do you think the next stage is films? Do you think you're going to see? You think you're going to see YouTubers in films soon?
KSI's
Paul
already done it and it was terrible.
100%.
Nah, but
So
yeah,
they're already dipping their
real
toes. No,
film.
but what I mean is that these influencers are dipping their toes into the film industry. Like, it's not going to be long till some of
next
these
stage, innit?
influencers are amazing at acting and actually pull off a good film.
I reckon.
Logan Paul's in films, isn't he?
Nah, not
Logan
big
Paul, is
Not
it?
what I know of.
I'm saying this,
No.
by the year 2028, we will see a superhero that is a TikTok or YouTuber. I reckon.
Bro, if they have a TikTok or YouTuber in the MCU, I'ma lose my fucking mind.
I don't think we're too far off, mate. I think that
Mate,
their little
I
agents
would.
are there. They're typing it out as we speak, and they're going, "Oh, you got a little role for, this guy."
Yeah.
I just feel like a lot of these haven't come to fame with talent.
None of
The
no,
vloggers with a camera, they're good at talking to a camera like this, and some can do the fucking dances and shit. Like, that's not talent. Like Twitch as well. Twitch, don't even get me started on Twitch and bikinis and hot tubs and what about all the people that are playing violins, playing guitars,
I'll just try and
talented
concentrate.
artists. And there's women on Twitch with their baps out making bank.
My favourite section.
Ridiculous.
Best section on Twitch, Danny. Just
What do you mean
chatting,
best
nothing
section
else.
on Twitch? Yeah, that's...
Go on
Literally.
that. Go on that. Hey, hang on,
He's probably
go on
subbed
that.
to them all, isn't he?
Go on that at 12 o'clock on that night. Your night's sorted. Yeah, it's the best thing ever.
Like, they're getting famous, not even through talent. Like, that's
No.
what triggers me.
Do you know what the worst part is as well? And I feel like this is both applicable to Twitch and YouTube. The people that are getting big now are hello, Chloe. Are people that have got financial backing. Like the people that are coming through are the ones that have spent $3,000 on a camera before they even got a view. Do you know what I mean? Like these are people with like serious bankrolling behind them. Hello, Beth, as well.
They're all saying, hello, this is going on. You're going on YouTube, so it's technically on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
Oh, look,
all
Spuddy's
good.
well happy to see us, aren't you, Spuds? Shame.
Big thumbs up. Big thumbs up.
Egg.
Oh, that's Liam.
Just
That's
wear a
nice.
bikini, Dan. I know, that's how I'm going to have to make money. I'm going to have to get the baps out, you know.
Oh, you can put
When's the hot
Use
tub
my
coming?
use my talent.
You can put me
Yeah, when's the hot tub coming, mate?
I know, I'm going to
Where's the
have to get
hot
one. Ditch the pool, get a hot tub.
Hold on, you need a little digital anime character on your shoulder as well. I don't know if you've seen
Oh,
that.
VTube, that's the other thing. Yeah, actually, VTubes, isn't it? They're making absolute bank at the minute. They're huge, and all it is a little avatar they've drawn with like a few
I've never felt older.
animations. For, like, it's mad.
I've never felt older than when I saw one of those, and then the amount of money they were got. I was like, I fundamentally do not understand this. Like
That's
this
the definition of a boomer right there, mate.
Yeah, no, I was like, I don't understand how anyone can give money to something that they know isn't real. Like it just doesn't. I
no.
can't comprehend it. I can't comprehend that they know that this is a drawing, and an animated character, and yet they're giving money and donating to code essentially. I was like, I'm too old, and that's fine. I can be too old, but I also feel like I'm fundamentally right where it's bollocks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There are a couple streamers who do it because they aren't like comfortable showing their face, so that's like fair enough. And then there are others who do it just because VTubers are big at the minute. You may as well do it because it gets you money. It's mad.
I don't know. It's mental.
Also, something I do want to bring up is, what do you think about some YouTubers getting so big recently that their entire like style of content has just changed, and it's become something that was like really passion driven with a community that they catered to because the community liked their content, and it's now more about pumping out videos, getting as many views as they can, getting as much money as they can from these videos because they became famous and people watch them because they're famous.
I hate
Can I rant
YouTubers.
for a bit?
Go on, squad. Go on. You've not said much. So I'll actually, yeah. You need to be heard now. Go on.
Orgs. He was this big YouTuber.
Morgs, God.
His videos obviously fake, but little kids would obviously watch him because they think, "Oh, this is real. Oh, this is really funny." Then, like a couple of weeks ago, he came out in my videos were fake, and I want to make content that's more like I'm actually like. Now he's gonna lose. I feel like he's gonna lose like so many subscribers just because he's making videos actually he's being himself and not streaming into a camera.
Not a persona anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot like that though. Like Ali is a well-known one for it.
Yeah.
True.
A lot of these content creators are just clickbaiting and just playing or doing videos of the shit that just gets some views. Fortnite, new Warzone map, all this shit. Whereas they're not really sticking to their roots and just being themselves. But people fall for it because it's kids that fall for it. These kids just click on these amazing looking thumbnails, are baited into the shit.
Yeah. And I know this is someone you watch because you have said before that you watched Tommy in it a bit, Dan.
I have
but
done,
I feel
yeah.
like with the whole like Dream SMP thing and the whole rise of that, I've watched so many YouTubers that I watch who used to have such a passion for something just change completely. Wilbur beforehand, you laugh, you lose streams and stuff like that with interacting with his Twitch chat a lot, really funny, and it's now just moved into catering towards this one. It's a large audience, but this one audience of just people who watch Dream SMP and these people. And then Slime Skull used to do videos just by himself of like games and stuff. Incredible YouTuber, and he's just got sucked into the Dream SMP stuff, and he's now just X mod is so funny, X thing is incredibly hilarious. All those titles, his titles have changed to just be that, and it's like, where has the soul gone?
Because everybody wants to be the next
in
Tommy,
their
innit?
pocket, Phoebes.
And it comes back to when we were talking about the Super League. It comes about the cheddar cheese, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone wants a piece of the pie. So they're going to change who they are to get a piece of the pie.
Yeah, it's not just businesses, it's individuals as well. Like individuals see a bit of this and they're like, well, I could do something that I like, or I could do something that I know is going to make me $5,000. So I'm gonna do
Exchange the
that.
soul. Yeah, it's literally people exchange the soul for cash. Like
Soul for cash.
Corey just said in
Also,
the chat.
I was scrolling through the just chatting category and Tommy Innett's there.
He's got his bats out.
125k. Oh, he's not.
Is he in a hot tub?
He's got. Oh. But he's got 325k.
Scrolling down on that.
300. Just comprehend that number. Just comprehend that number, right? He's not doing anything spectacular. He's in just chatting. He's got 325,000. I'm gonna say children watching him, right?
Yeah.
There's not going to be many grown men. Come on now. Whereas I was watching Nick Merckx with the new Warzone map, and he peaked at 400k, but it's because it was a live event and it was a big event. Everyone wanted to see one of the best Call of Duty players play the event. Whereas that's just a normal day for Tommy at 300, and that's what everyone wants. Everyone wants to be the next Tommy in it. So they're
Yeah.
adapting,
Those
changing who
numbers
they
are
are, and it's
scary.
affecting their viewers, which don't give a shit about. People that like these younger people that kind of look up to these influencers and kind of get ruined by it because these influencers change and just stop being who they are and go for the money.
People also base their personalities off of these people as well, which is just weird to see.
These people on your
It's like
screen, these kids are going to
you're-
think, oh yeah, they're kind of like doing it right. What they do is right. I want to be like them.
And also,
Your personality is based off of a YouTuber you watch and do not know.
I scrolled down a little bit, and there's a girl in a hot pool. The baps out, 0.3k.
So what?
I'm getting a bikini and a hot tub. Fuck it.
By the way, that's what Liam's watching right now. You think Liam's paying attention to us? Not sure.
No, yeah, he's got enough tab up, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Liam, you're muted, by the way. Can't hear you. Liam, you're muted.
Is he sat on the toilet there?
I know he is. No, I can
No, he's
hear him.
unmuted. Oh, now we got a ceiling shot.
Alfred, watch that. In a mankini or some shit. Oh,
mate.
guys, if you... Oh, no.
There he goes.
Oh
Oh,
no.
We're
no.
down to 4. We're slowly being eliminated.
Oh,
No.
This is the worst Hunger Games ever, guys. All right?
You're being picked off one by one.
Yeah.
Oh.
I
That was
don't
split
like what
everywhere.
this has done to my overlay. Like,
I was about to say-
yes, he fixed
Oh.
it.
Wait.
It's back.
Oh, thank God for that. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Oh, he's Spuddy and Spuddy's lead.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I'll be Liam for a bit. I'll do.
He needs to turn on his camera. That's
What's
what it is.
Liam's accent?
Hey, there we go. He fixed his shit.
Yeah,
There
you
we
know.
go.
Oh, no, that's Scouse. Sorry.
Yeah.
I also, God, have you noticed YouTube is just not doing stuff with the people they used to in the past as well?
I've
So-
noticed that the in terms of the YouTube algorithm, it makes fucking zero sense anymore. It no longer tries to suggest stuff that you will like. It now suggests, oh, do you want to have a look at this bloke that sharpens a rusted
Yeah.
knife for 30 minutes?
I've
Yeah.
seen
Fucking
that.
don't,
I watched
YouTube.
this.
No, I don't. I don't
There
watch
was
that
one
at
that I got
all.
recommended one like this guy turned. I fell for the clickbait as well. More fool me. He turned a rusty bolt into a miniature dagger, like knife.
Have you seen the Subway bloke? He's fucking everywhere on my suggested. It's just a bloke that does little 60-second clips whilst he's making a fucking sandwich, telling a little story everywhere. I shit you not, everywhere I look. He's just
Yeah, it's on
constantly
I've not
there.
seen that. I've not
it's
been
on
recommended
TikTok.
that. What do you watch on YouTube?
On it, no, I'm serious when I say this. I cannot avoid it. It's like every suggested. It's like this bloke talks about how someone ran off with some money during a Subway. I've clicked it because I'm on mug. I'll be honest, I've clicked it, but it's just like
Jake
why is it
relates.
this-
Jake relates in chat down below. He's seen them before as well.
Yeah,
It's on TikTok everywhere on my For You page.
I was
And
watching a
like,
bloke
no.
mix paint yesterday. That
Oh, that's
was
kind of cool though.
yeah, it was
I think I
once
know what you're on about.
7
Yeah,
60
once.
second clips over it, and I was like, "What am I doing with my life?" He just mixes paint. He's the bloke at B&Q that you go grey, please, and he puts it into a thing and it goes whizzes, and he's made a career out of that. And I'm like, "What am I doing? Why am I watching this?"
Also, going back to being famous, I was having a look in Danny's users in chat, and there's 2 names that are obviously scams. There's Community for Small Streamers and Discord for Streamers.
Epic.
Thanks for that, Jason. Honking in our ear. Well, in my ears anyway. Jesus. It's always these guys mixing paints or making a fucking Subway sandwich while a story plays in the background and they get stuff off that. That's Jake, that
Yeah.
as well.
C'est la vie. I tell you no lies. This is just, it's so annoying. I don't want to see that in any way. I want to see like upcoming, I want to see like people that are doing similar stuff to the stuff I watch, but someone slightly different, someone new to watch. I don't want to see a bloke that makes a sandwich. I never want to see that, just to be clear. That's nothing that do you know what I'll do if I want to go see a
That
bloke watch a
concept
sandwich?
to me is bizarre.
Do you know what I want to do if I want to go see a bloke make a sandwich? I'll
Subway.
go to Subway and then I'll eat the sandwich after. Incredible.
Incredible, eh? Who come up with that idea?
I don't know. But as I said, the algorithm seems to think that that's what I want to watch at 3 a.m. when I should be sleeping.
Also, there's those
If it
random
makes you feel
videos.
better, Spud, I always watch the soap cutting videos.
Oh, no.
Jason
Damn.
said I need to get Spuddy to record an audio book for me, his voice.
Is that in a good
Like,
way or
man,
a
fuck
bad
off
way?
with your nursery paints. I want to see Ninja screaming at a 10-year-old saying fuck off.
The fuck you sending me, you little shit?
That's such a good clip, honestly. Got a nice
Guaranteed, YouTube's going to be bigger than mainstream TV, hands down.
I'm
yeah.
gonna
I'm sure it
take
already
over.
is.
Yeah, I was gonna
At
say.
this point, I think it already is, Danny.
Like, let's say, for example, you've got one of the Sidemen Sundays, yeah? So what's that, like 6 million in probably 2 weeks? I don't think there's any terrestrial TV show, apart from like main special events, where you've got 12 million people viewing on a Friday night or a Sunday night. I don't think you've got any, maybe 2 or 3. They've got that every single week. I don't think there's one ITV show that does that.
They are doing all credit. I love watching those videos. Like, they do bits. They're so well produced. They're like almost TV quality produced. Like last week we had Are You Smarter Than a 10-Year-Old?
They're spending the budget on it though. Like, let's not pretend that they're still a YouTube channel anymore. Let's pretend that they are financially backed. Like, they are essentially a business at this point.
Yeah,
because
they've kind of spoke about it, not to exact amounts, but they've spoke about that they put money into their videos and they need the videos to do well, so they make a profit on that video from what they've put in. So it is essentially, like you said, a business standpoint.
I think you see it so much now. How many times have you seen this same video? Spending £10,000 on my mates and seeing them react, spending £10,000 on streamers and watching them react, giving £10,000 worth of gifts to my friend, spending this. How many times have we seen that video now? Like, it's obviously like a tax, not evasion, but like a tax reason they're doing it, because every single one of these fuckers that's like worth, not worth over a certain amount, but it's got like more than 1 million subs, gets like loads of views. They do the exact same thing after a while, and it must be for tax reasons that they do it as a write-off. It's beginning. Yeah, Mr. Beast was the first one, and I still feel like he puts a lot into his pocket because he puts too much back, if that makes sense. I still feel like he's probably doing it for a good reason. Like, not good reasons, but like he's still on that mindset of, I'm just going to put money into this and it's going to slowly come to fruition. But when you've got the medium-sized channels, that obviously, I say medium, they're still like 5 million subs or whatever, that are doing it constantly. Like, this is getting really fucking boring now. Like, there's only so many times you can buy people gifts out of your own pocket before we realise this is just a business that you're running.
Well, as you mentioned that then, you said about reacting to. Have you noticed how reaction videos bang and they're doing really fucking good? What is it? I like them as well. I'm a fool for them. I love watching Sidemen reacts every single day. What do you think it is about reaction videos that we all kind of like? Why do we like watching someone else watch a video and react to it?
There's 2 reasons, I think. I think one, do you remember we used to watch commentary channels a lot? So like people that would critique other YouTubers we didn't like, they've gone. They've been replaced with react channels. True. Second of all, how many times have you watched something and wondered, I wonder if my opinion's what everyone else feels? And then you've gone and you've searched like, Jake Paul's new song, is it any good? Press enter, 7 people are there, all with the face.
Great thumbnail pause.
Yeah, you click on one of them, you get suckered in, you watch the second one, you watch the third one, you think, they all think the same thing as me. Sick. Move on with your life. Yeah. That's what they all just farm that stuff. It makes them so much money. It has 0 effort. They put 10 minutes in a day and they earn what me and you do in a year. And that's it. That's all they have to do.
Also, it's like being able to base your opinion or like your viewpoint off of someone you look up to. If you like seen something and thought, oh, that's how I think about this, whatever, then you watch someone you look up to reacting to it and they react in the same way, you're going to feel more good about the opinion you had in the first place. And that's like a little bit of dopamine, and you just get hooked into that.
Definitely. I also think that it used to be the case where the people that you used to look for reviews and reactions to were people that you respected and thought had more opinions on a topic than you. So you would look for, like, let's say sports, you're looking for like an ex-pundit, like an ex-player or a pundit. If you were looking for music, you'd go for someone that's like a music guru. And if you're going for films, you're going for someone that's like a movie reviewer, like, you know, just dedicate their life to it. Nowadays, though, you haven't got to bother. Like, you just look for, and this is the people, they've got like as close to zero talent as you want. It sounds harsh, but they just are kind of funny. That's their only talent. And they review this stuff and they react to this stuff. And it's essentially like meaningless. Like, they're people with no expertise on it. As I said, they're just giving some vaguely funny commentary to it, and we just lap it all up because that's the life we live nowadays. Do you know what I mean? We live the Gogglebox era. Do you know what I mean? Where we take stuff from Gogglebox and we take it as gospel. And that's what these YouTubers have like planted onto.
Yeah.
The reason I watch reaction videos is like just see what reaction they have. Honestly, it's not even like their views.
Yeah, it's like when I
Just
watch the Sidemen videos, it's stupid things like the top 10 most expensive houses, and they'll react to that and have a bit of banter between each other and stuff like that. Like, I don't understand why I enjoy it so much. Maybe it's because it's maybe a little bit of an escape from real life, because I know it's comedy behind it. Like, comedy's a great escape from a lot of things in life. Maybe that's why I fall to those reactions. But at the same time, I was guilty of it. I was guilty of it today, actually. I won't spoil it. Last episode of The Winter Soldier and The Falcon and the Winter Soldier was today. And I went on YouTube to see what some random people, what they thought about it. Like, why does that matter? Why did I do that? But I did it. And that wasn't even for entertainment, like to make me laugh.
There is a genuine reason though, because let's say, rather than doing that, you would go to Beth and ask, what do you think about it? Like, the point is that you don't have to do that anymore. You just go on the internet and you've got 17 people's opinions on it instantly. And you can just sift through those. You can pick the ones that you think they'll agree with, and then that'll make you feel better. You'll be like, yeah, they think the same as me. Wicked. You know what I mean? Like, that's how life is nowadays. You've got so many people posting so much content that if any point, like, you've got a prediction for a football game coming up, you can type in that football game. You've got 8 people that instantly tell you what they think of it. You type in, I've got this album. I just listened to it. I thought it was cool. Type in that album. 17 people have got a review on it. You click those. Oh, they think similar stuff. Wicked. Make you feel better. Like,
so, Liam, Sorry, go on.
No, you just rather than doing it between mates as you would before and hoping that they've watched the same stuff as you, now you've got virtual mate. It sounds so sad, but you've got virtual.
You're not wrong though. You're not wrong.
Yeah, you've got people.
It's like Liam watches Liam. Who is it? Show us your face. Where have you gone? What are you doing?
Come on, see Liam boy.
Why does he look out of it? What's the matter, Liam?
Have you had a joint, Liam, whilst we've been gone?
Lives with stone.
We can't hear you, by the way, in case you're wondering.
Oh,
I still think.
Yeah, I can't hear. I was literally going to ask him. You'll know about it, Spuddy. I was going to ask him because he watches. He was on about the football thing. What?
Mark Goldbridge is his name. He was talking to me earlier on Rocket League about it. Is it the Man United guy?
Yeah.
Mark Goldbridge, that's who it is.
Yeah, he was watching it. Like, I was on call to him off stream the other day, and he was telling me about it. It was during the whole drama of the Super League, and he's just a guy that just voices his opinions.
That's the perfect analogy, really. Like, let's say that you're watching a football game or a sporting event.
That's why I thought I'd bring it up.
Yeah, and you think that this player's shit, or you think that your let's say two people are fighting and you think the other one's not doing as well as he could be, or he's taking it too slow, and you've got another guy that's saying the same thing, you feel like an absolute wizard. And they're saying the same basic, like they're not a professional sports pundit. They're not a professional music reviewer. They're not a professional movie reviewer. They're just a bloke with his opinions. And his opinions might be as right or wrong as the professional. But you would hope that the point is the professional would say something that's something beyond, or like gives like further description and like a reason as to why you think that way. So let's say that you're watching you're listening to a new album and you think, oh, this song like bangs a bit more than all the others. Why is that? And this other guy goes, yeah, man, it's cool, bro. It's got like, a sick beat, man. And you're like, yeah, that's the reason for it. It's got a sick beat. And then the other guy comes in, professional music producer. He's like, well, this has got more harmonies. This has got a 3/4 tempo rather than a 4/4. You know, has got actual reasons and definition behind it rather than just fucking, yeah, man, this is sick. And that's what. And it might be more fun to watch the bloke go, yeah, man, this is really sick. But in terms of what's going to like make your brain pop in the future, it's going to be the professional, isn't it?
I think that's why Liam and a lot of United fans gravitate towards that YouTuber, because if he says good or bad things about Manchester United, all the United fans are going to agree with him no matter what.
Why
He's never going to say controversial shit.
He's having audio issues, so I did try and like he's moving his mouth, we can't hear him. But on that disappointment, everyone, I'm going to wrap up the podcast. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Leave some ideas of topics that you want us to cover next week if the news doesn't already do it for us like it did this week. So I'll leave some ideas in the comment section below. Don't forget, I stream pretty much every day on twitch.tv/IamDJK. And we will see you all next week. Thank you very much for all. I'm not editing. Not doing it. See you all next week. Goodbye now.
Bye.
See you later.